Solomon and the Shulamite seem to enjoy mixing their metaphors in love as the Song of Songs comes to a close. And Paul teaches us to walk in love, to walk in light, to walk in wisdom, and to walk in mutual submission. Today on 3 in 1, as we consider Song of Songs, chapters 7 and 8, and Ephesians chapter 5. Well, we said in our last episode that the Song of Songs was full of veiled and not so veiled references to the passionate physical expression of love between husband and wife as lovers. And such is the case in the first 9 verses of chapter 7. Did you read those verses? Whew, Solomon! And yet, again, is he saying anything that's inappropriate? And why did God include this in his holy word? Well, maybe it's to spur us on as spouses. I mean, husbands. When was the last time that you wrote a letter like that to your wife? I mean, specifically the first 9 verses of chapter 7. Now, hopefully you'll use your own meaningful metaphors, ones that would be meaningful and passionate and direct, like Solomon. I mean, you can't get much more direct than what Solomon said in verses 7 and 8. And wives, when was the last time that you wrote a note to your husband, like the Shulamite's response in verses 9 through 13, inviting and sensual and suggestive? Or have you forgotten that you are lovers? Or have you not known that it's okay to be lovers, that you were designed to be lovers as husband and wife, committed, passionate, and regularly intimate? See, this again is a result of our unwillingness to just talk about this, to talk about one of God's great gifts to us, because we think that somehow it is inappropriate. Saying to singles, sex is bad. Your desire for sex is bad. You are bad and entirely inappropriate if you desire that physical intimacy one day with your husband or with your wife in the confines of the covenant of marriage. See, after hearing that as a single so many times, it's difficult to make the switch once you're married. Sex is okay now? It's not bad anymore? Well, unfortunately, you can't even ask anyone that question because sex has become that of which we do not speak of as Christians. I mean, so many married couples struggle with intimacy, physically as well as spiritually, when in maturity we could just have that frank, candid discussion and stop saying to singles that sex is bad or somehow inappropriate. Sex is good. Sex is godly. Sex is holy. Sex is a gift from God given to husband and wife who he designed to be lovers. So, as the Shulamite said, there is wisdom when single in not awakening love or unwrapping the present before it's time, before you're married. But once you're married, unwrap the present. I mean, for God's sake, for your lover's sake, who is your husband or your wife, unwrap the good gift given to you by God in your committed, passionate, and regularly intimate relationship, physically as well as spiritually. And I rarely do this, but I would like to recommend a book to you if this is a struggle for you and your spouse. It's a book called Sheet Music by Dr. Kevin Lehman. Did you catch that? Sheet Music. It's the best book that I've read on this subject. It's not a perfect book. It's just the best book that I've read on the subject of physical intimacy between husband and wife. Now, one of the reasons why I recommend it is because it's incredibly candid in every area, asking and answering all the questions that you've wanted to ask but were afraid to do so. Even translating or even mediating between husband and wife. It's a great book to read if you're newly married. And it's a great book to read if you've been married for a long time now but struggle in this area. As a pastor, I give it as a gift to all the couples that I have the privilege. Now I'm thinking you're probably trying to rewind to find out the name of that book. It's called Sheet Music by Dr. Kevin Lehman. And I give it as a gift to all the couples that I have the privilege of officiating their wedding ceremony. I don't give them the book in premarital counseling. That would be unwise. But I do give it to them after they're married. And many of you couples that read this book with your spouse will say, "Man, I wish someone would have given us this information when we were newly married." And yes, guys, it's just that good. Okay, on to our New Testament reading for today, Ephesians chapter 5, where Paul the Apostle encourages us to walk in love, to walk in light, to walk in wisdom, and to walk in mutual submission. Paul continues the conversation of how to walk a walk worthy of the calling that we have received from God. Do you remember what that means? Walking a walk means living a life, and worthy means balancing the scales. See, once again, God has given us gifts. Gifts like salvation and forgiveness and eternal life, and our life is to be lived in response to God's great gifts, lived in such a way where we try to balance the scale. His great gifts are on one side of the scale, and our life lived in loving response is on the other side of the scale. And again, that sounds impractical, improbable, impossible, but that's what love does. If you're truly in love, you at least try. You say to the Lord, Lord, you have loved me so much. I am not going to stop passionately loving you back until I balance that scale, which will never happen because God will just keep on loving you more, and then you will just keep on loving him back and on into eternity. And is that so bad? So in Ephesians, in the chapter that we read today, Paul outlined some ways that we can try and balance that scale, some practical ways that we can live our lives in response to God's great love. And Paul said that one way is to walk in love, not lust. The physical expression of love is reserved, given as a gift to husband and wife. Any physical expression outside of that committed covenant relationship is lust, not love. So if you really do love your fiancé, you will wait to unwrap that gift. Otherwise, you are not walking in love. Another way that Paul says that we can live a life worthy of our calling is to walk in light. Again, a metaphor, but a practical application. Living in the light or walking in the light means no secrets, no hiding. If there's something in your life that you wouldn't want anyone else to know about, then that's a pretty good indication that you shouldn't be engaging in that activity. So walk in wisdom. That's another way that Paul says that we can live a life in response to the Lord's love. Walking, living, making the most of every opportunity for the glory of God. See, the opposite of walking in wisdom would be wasting time. There are only a certain amount of seconds that have been entrusted to your care as a steward, and your master expects that you will make the most out of each and every one. And finally, one of the ways that we can live a life in response to the Lord's love is to walk in mutual submission. Submission, like submarine. Submission means coming under the Lord's mission, specifically here the Lord's mission for marriage. And listen, we must admit this. Every single marriage at some point tries to reinvent the wheel and figure out how this thing works on our own, instead of just reading, listening, and applying the architect's instructions. See, God is God, and we are not. And God knows how He has hardwired us and how He has designed marriage to work the best. And it's pretty simple. Wives are hardwired to know that they are loved supremely above all other earthly loves by their husband. That is their greatest need in marriage. And husbands are hardwired to know that they are respected by their wives, to know that they are their wife's hero. That is their greatest need in marriage. So simply, if you want to have a great marriage, husbands, love your wives. Wives, respect your husbands. If you want to have a horrible marriage, then yeah, keep doing it your own way. But if you want to do it God's way, according to the architect's original intent, when He designed marriage and gave it to humanity as a gift, then Christ is your ultimate example. See, wives, Christ is your example when it comes to submission. And husbands, Christ is also your example when it comes to love. So both of you, follow your Lord, follow Jesus with all your heart, and love each other well. Knows how He has hardwired us and how He has designed marriage to work the best. And it's pretty simple. Wives are hardwired to know that they are loved supremely above all other earthly loves by their husband. That is their greatest need in marriage. And husbands are hardwired to know that they are respected by their wives, to know that they are their wife's hero. That is their greatest need in marriage. So simply, if you want to have a great marriage, husbands, love your wives. Wives, respect your husbands. If you want to have a horrible marriage, then yeah, keep doing it your own way. But If you want to do it God's way, according to the architect's original intent, when he designed marriage and gave it to humanity as a gift, then Christ is your ultimate example. See, wives, Christ is your example when it comes to submission. And husbands, Christ is also your example when it comes to love. So, both of you, follow your Lord, follow Jesus with all your heart, and love each other well.